can cover further string methods, but I will not cover them now. We'll cover them in a little bit later stage. Before that, let me tell you about Boolean, and that's where comparison operators come in. Many times, we would like our Python language to understand what is true and what is false, right? We would like Python to know that. We would like Python to compare two things like 10 greater than 5. For that, we should have a comparison operator. And what should be the output of 10 greater than 5? Now, we don't want that to be an integer or a string. Instead, we want something that can have only two answer, that can only take two values, either true or false and nothing else, right? So that's why we have a new data type, which is a Boolean. In Python, we call it as bool. Okay. So if you can say you can print what's the type of true, and it will give you it's a bool type. It's a Boolean. Okay. Now, what are the comparison that we can do? Of course, we can say if one number is bigger than the other number. We can say if one number is smaller than the 5. We can say is 10 less than equal to 5 or 10 greater than equal to 5. Right. Other than that, you can see a complete list here where we also have a equal to symbol. Now, why do we use double equal to for equal to? Right. So the thing is, in mathematics, we can do both. In maths, we can say, okay, is 5 equal to 10? Or we can also say a equal to 10. Let's say let x equal to 10. In Python, both of these work. Not in Python, sorry. In mathematics, both of these works, but in Python, a single operator can do a single task. That's why for this assignment here, what we are doing here is known as assignment. And what we are doing here is the comparison. We are checking if they are equal or not. Right. So these are two operations in mathematics. The same operator is used to do both the things. But in Python, the symbol equal to is used just for the assignment. And the double equal to symbol is used for checking if they are equal or not. Why? Because again, computer will not understand. It won't be able to differentiate between these two things. So we need to separate the operator. We need to say, okay, whenever I say double equal to now, that means check for the equality. But when I'm just writing a single equal to sign, that means the assignment. Okay. Now coming back here. So that's why we have double equal to symbol. And for not equal to, we have a exclamatory mark with a single equal to symbol. You can try to write answer in the chat now. Like you can try to do that. I think you don't even need to use Python for it. You can just try to revisit the concept and can you tell me the output? What will the output of this code A and B? I think these are very simple problems. I'm starting with simple ones. So the first problem is when you write x equal to 4, y equal to 6, what will happen if you say print x plus y? And then the second problem is what does print 2 double asterisk 6 means? Right, you can write your answer in chat and I will look at chat in, let's just say 10 seconds. Okay, let's see if there are any response or not. So the answer of A is 10 and the answer of B is 2 square 6. So basically 2 raised to power 6, right? So the double asterisk symbol is equivalent of exponent. So you are saying 2 raised to power 6, okay? And 2 raised to power 6 is nothing but 64, right? And x plus y is 10. It's just a normal thing, right? So there's nothing hard that we are doing right now. I just wanted that to be clear so that it's very simple thing. It might be very repetitive for you guys, but I'll try to speed up things later, right? Now the second thing is which data type return value true or false? Again, you can write these things in chat. These are just for your recall purpose. Which data type return true or false values? Boolean. Yeah, great. Now coming to next question, again, write the output. Now I think you understand these concepts, so I'll skip this one. Keywords can be used as variable names. This again, we know keywords cannot be used as variable name because we have taken the example of print, right? This is something interesting. I would like you guys to give it a thought. How to write a program to display the last digit of a number. When you have a number and you would like to display the last digit of it, how will you do that? So I'll try to explain that. If you have a number 1, 2, 3, the last digit here is 3, right? The unit digit. So how to find that using Python? To get the last digit of a number, even in mathematics, what you can really do is you can just divide this number by 10 and find the remainder. Make sense? I hope some, yeah. So just divide this number by 10 and give me the remainder, right? So to calculate the last digit, you can directly say 1, 2, 3. I will divide it by 10. Give me the remainder. That can also be done by using modulo symbol, right? As we discussed in our last session, percentage 10. So when you write 1, 2, 3 percentage 10, I can solve this problem here. How to get the last digit of a number. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Now you can do print, whatever the number is, percentage 10. Again, the question might sound a little bit difficult, but when you try to implement it, it's very simple. In Python, just by one line, you can do it. Now you look something known as typecasting. I think logical operators will go later, but what is typecasting? Typecasting is there a way to convert a variable from one data type to another data type? Okay. What does that mean? Let's say I ask a user input, okay? So I'm asking a user input here. You can ask a user input by using input, and you can say write a number. Now what this function will do is when you run this function will give you uh, a way of writing, and then it will wait until you press the enter key. So you can write 12 and press the enter key, and basically it takes that input and store it somewhere. If you want to store it, let's just say I'm storing it in a data variable. Now whatever input a user is going to type, you are assigning that value to the variable data. Now when I run it and when I write the value 12, you will see a new variable has been created here. Name it data. It's of type string. Even when you are writing an integer, input function will always take it as a string because they don't care about what a user is going to write. Let them write anything. I will handle them separately. So first we store that in a data variable, and then now is there a way to convert it into integer? So there is a way. So every type in itself comes with a function. So you can say int data, and that will try to convert this into integer. If there is an error, then we will get an error. Like let's say if you are writing Tom, of course, Tom then cannot be converted into integer. So it has to be something in base 10. Then only you can convert that into integer. We have we do know what is base 10. I have covered that before, but let me also give you now here. So whatever a human system is, that's base 10, right? We use like 0, 1, 2. So any number can be formed by using these digit. And that's why we call them as base 10, base 10 number system. The binary system that computer use is base 2. Okay. Now about the typecasting, how can I typecast that into integer? You can just use int function. So you are putting your data as a argument to the int function, and then you store it into, let's say, new data. And now you can print new data. Okay, let me first give the item here. Let's just say 10. And now when you can print new data. First of all, why do we need to change? Why can't I directly use this data? So the issue with that is you can say num1 is input this. You can say num2 is another input, write a number 1, write a number 2. And then what if you just like to do num1 plus num2? Even if you would like to do just this simple part, it will not do that. Now here you can write a number, let's say 10 and 20. The output is 10, 20. Yeah, the output is 10, 20. It's not 10 plus 20. The reason is both were string. And in case of string, when you add two string, let's say Tom plus Jerry, the plus symbol here means concatenation, right? So we are even not able to create a calculator here. So how to do that? So what you can do is you can first get the number, but then convert your number one into integer num1 and your num2 as your int num2. And then when you run the same program, you write 10, you write 20, you get the output 30. So that's the use case of typecasting. Okay. So that's how you can do it. And also here we can say print num1 plus num2. You get the value 30, and that's what we have done. So here you can see both are int data type now. What if you want to convert that back into string? You can do that by just saying num1 equal to string or str num1. When you do that, you will see it's converted back into string. Okay, string with 2 characters, 1 and 0. So this is how you can convert a string into numbers or a number into string. Now the question, there is something known as len function. What does len function lets you do? Len function, if you look at this doc string here, it returns the number of items in a container. A container means an object that can store multiple items. A string is kind of like that. A string contains multiple characters. So when you say give me the length of Tom, it will give you 3. Okay, it has 3 characters. So it gave you how many characters were there. So it gives you length 3. This makes sense. Now, I guess we can again look into some advanced question. I'll also give one of them as homework. You can try them out. But again, there is a logical question comes here. If I give you a number, can you tell me how many digits it have? So if I give you a number, let's say num equal to 2 raised to power 30. If I give you that, can you tell me how many digits this number have? Or sorry, this is just 2 multiply, but I would like to give 2 raised to power 30. So how to do this thing, right? So this question, if you try to do it using mathematics, it will require you to take a loop and every time divide it by 10. And whenever you are dividing it by 10, just increment your count by 1. And see when the number is less than 10, then your job is done, right? So that's the mathematical way of solving it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Convert that into string, and then your job is already done, right? So just say string num, and then once it is string, you have it as data variable, because now it's not a number, it's a string. And now when you print data, you'll again see the number, but because it is a container, you can take its length. You cannot take length of a integer, but you can take length of a string. And you now you know how many digits 2 raised to power 30 have, or even 2 raised to power, let's say 47. Okay, it has 15 digits. All right. So once we know that, now I'll not go more into strings now. Let's go to the new concept, that is logical operators. What does and, or, and not means? Okay. We have covered the input and print, right? But we'll also cover them one more time. But before that, let's look into logical operators that Python have. What are logical operators? Why do we need them? Right. If you have not covered that, if you're covering this for the first time, let me just go a little bit into deep. So maybe there are two switchboards in your room. Okay. Let's just say this is where we sleep. This is our bed. And this is the main gate. I'll just put it here. This is the main gate from where we enter in our room. And now there are two switchboards. Okay. So there is a switchboard near your entrance where you can just on and off your light. So you have your home light switch, which can be either on or off, right? Let's just say it is now off. Let me make it a little bit like this. Okay. Should have made it smaller. Is there a way? Yeah. Okay. So it's the switch is off. Now there is another switch near your bedside where you sleep. So both are off. That means both are kind of like zero, both are false. Okay. So I'm just using zero as your off switch. Both are false. Now, you'd like the fan or you'd like your main light to be on. Whenever you come to your main entrance, to turn it on, you'll just press it as one, right? Now, you'd like your light to be on or off. That is something. So, if you have just one switch, you can do it directly. You don't need any other operation. The thing is very simple. Whenever you want to turn your lights, you just go and switch it on. If you want it to be off, you just off it from here. That's great. But now what if we want two switchboard and we would like them to kind of connected with each other, right? So that's where the connecting logical operator works, and that's where one of them is known as AND operator. What does AND operator do? AND operator will say that when both are one, then only it's one. When both are true, then only it's true. Otherwise, false. So it says when both true, then true, else false. Okay, in just some clear words. Yeah, this is the AND operator. Now what happens if you put AND operator in your room? That means when both are zero, the light is off. Okay, great. But now when I enter from my room, if I switch it on, my light is still off. Now I have to go near my bed and again make it one. So the AND operator can be used when you want to be more secured, in a way that when both the conditions are true, then only do something. Otherwise, don't do it. Okay. So it's kind of giving you an additional security. You can say that, okay, if I'm having a, let's say, the nuclear thing, then I need that button to be pressed from three different office, right? From president office, or let's say from the ship owner. So that's the AND operator. And then we can have the OR operator, which says that even if one of them is true, it's true. Okay. So the OR operator is even when one of them is true, it's true. All right. So OR operator is kind of good in this sense. When I have zero here and I have zero here, now when you enter your room, you just make it one and your light will be on. So it's working, right? You want it to be you want your lights to be on when you enter in your room and you just switch it on, it works. But the thing is, what if I want to shut my lights off, right? When I go to sleep here, even if I keep on pressing this button, nothing will happen, right? Nothing is happening here. Why? Because it's a OR gate. Both has to be zero to make it close. Okay. I hope so far it's good, right? What is AND operator? What is OR operator? Now that's where a need of new operator comes in, and that's known as exclusively OR. What does that mean? So exclusively OR means that when both are not same than 1. So basically when both are same, it will make them 0. Okay. And when 1 is 0, 1 is 1, then it will make them 1. Let me give the whole table chart of it for XOR gate. So in XOR gate, one XOR is denoted by this symbol, this arrow symbol. Okay. So 1 XOR 1 is 0 because both are same here. When both are same, it will be 0. Now 1 XOR 0 means 0. Oh, sorry, 1. And 0 XOR 1 means 1. And 0 XOR 0 means again 0 because both are same. So this is the table chart, or we call it as a truth table of XOR gate. Okay. Now the AND operator, let me try to delete this one. All right. So this was for XOR. Let me do the same thing for AND gate. Okay. So what do you denote AND operator by? So AND operator is denoted by ampersand. Okay. So ampersand is for AND operator. And now 1 ampersand 1 is 1 and others are 0. Okay. And now how is your OR operator given as? So your OR operator is denoted by a pipe. All right. So now in the AND operator, of course, if both are 1, then only it's 1. Otherwise, it's 0. In OR operator, when both are 0, then it's 0. Otherwise, it's 1. So even if either of them happens, then it's good for OR operator. I hope these three are clear, right? This will be used a lot in programming world, and that's why we need to know them. The XOR is most used in our daily life. Like if you look at the XOR gate, if a person comes in your room, if they switch it on, your lights are on. Even when they are 1 0, it's on, right? Like because 1 0 is 1. Now you can come to your bed when you are sleeping, you can press this button. When you press it, it becomes 1. Because both are 1, your lights will be closed now. Again, even if one of the switch becomes flip, even if you flip one of them, your state of light will be changed. And that's what we really needed, right? So in our day-to-day life, if there are two switchboards in your single room, mainly they are using XOR gate. Okay. All right. Once we understand this, we can come back here. And I think this will be clear now that when you have your value 1, when you have false, and yeah. So now they are saying that whatever the value 2 is, you don't even care about it. If one of the value is false and you're using AND operator, the output will be false, right? The output will not be true. Make sense? And when you are saying true ampersand something, then it depends on y. So your output is kind of like y because it depends on whatever the value of y will be, it will give you that value. And in our case, if the first one is false, then again, it depends on the second one. That's why y. In the or case, if the first one is true, it's fine. It will just give you x. It will not even care about the second value. If the one is true, you have found the first one to be true, your job is done. Don't even look at the second value. And not operator is just not operator, right? It's negation of whatever you have. I hope I was clear enough in logical operators. This is something where you can explore this more in electronics and how the integrated circuits and all of those works. So this logical operators is actually field of electronics more than computer science. But yeah, these are like the connecting point of a hardware to a software, right? These operators and those binary values, zeros and ones with the operators make the whole thing work. So that's the computer science, the main computer science, right? Now coming back to our input and print, how they work. So this we will start after a break. Okay. So we'll go back into Python a little bit. For now, we were a little bit into here pure programming, but now we'll come back to Python. Okay. So this is it. We can take 10-minute break and we'll come back again. You can also think about problems. If you have any doubt, you can ask after the 10-minute break. Okay. So try to formulate whatever doubt you have, or yeah. Hi, I hope everyone's back. So either you can type in on Google Meet or you can speak if you are back so that we can continue.
I'm back.
Okay, great. Let me, yeah, Olsen is also back. So let me start. Okay, so again, referral to what is input and print. So what's the job of print function, right? If you look at it, print function have some kind of expression in it, right? Some expression or there might be some multiple expressions separated by comma. But let's assume that there is a single expression. Then print's job is take that expression, first evaluate it. So if someone is writing something like 1 plus 20, evaluate this expression, convert this back into 21. After you evaluated it, then convert whatever object you have inside here into string. Okay. So whatever object you have inside here, convert that into string that will be converted into 21. Converting an object into string is like taking photo of it. Okay. So you can see some building and there are objects of different purpose and all. But when you convert that into string, it's like just taking a photo of that real world thing, right? So you have taken a photo of a car, then the photo does not mean that much, right? It's not inheriting all the properties of the object. It's just a photograph, and that photograph is then, or the string can be then shown to the output screen. Okay, that's the job of print. So this 21 then can be shown anywhere on any screen. The print's default purpose is to show it on the system output, which is your compiler, or yeah, which is generally your terminal screen. Okay, but you can overwrite it and try to place it on, let's say, McDonald's display, right? That's also you can do. Like whenever a burger is created, you don't show the whole burger there. Instead, you take a photo of it, or you take the ID of that burger and just show the ID of that burger or the ID of the order number on the display, right? So that's the kind of use of string that print do. Now, okay, so the print purpose is evaluate the expression, convert that into string, and then show it onto the display screen. Now, what's the input purpose? So there is a display screen where we have shown this 21, right? That's the purpose. And because it's on screen, it's a string, because only a string can be displayed on a display, right? Even if it's a number, it's taken as a string only, considered as a string. Okay. Now, how can you take something from that screen or from the output from your keyboard to Python, right? How can you do that? So whenever you press some button on your keyboard and press enter, that information is stored here. It's 21. You can see that on your on your monitor, right? Whenever you're pressing any keys on keyboard, let's say 2 1, you can see that on your monitor it's taken as a string, and that can be stored by using an input function. Okay, so that's the purpose of input function. You can ask a question here, you can write a prompt. So what the input function will do is it will first print that prompt on the output display, and then it will wait for the user answer. Whatever the user is going to write, it's going to take it as output of that input function. So that's what it does. So the input function takes input from the user and returns it. Now let's see on the code how it looks like. So you can say something like data equal to input. You can ask for a number, right? Or you can say, please enter your name. Now, when you press enter, of course, that information will be stored in data, but here you can write the information. You can say, my name is Tom. You have stored that here. Now you can say something like print good morning space Tom. Or you don't want to write Tom here, right? We don't know their name. So you can replace it with a variable data. Now, whatever the variable or whatever the value the user is going to give, we are going to just tell them good morning. So here, whenever someone writes Tom, our computer says good morning, Tom. Again, from our previous session, we know why there are two space here. One space is from the first string, another space is because of the separator we are using between two objects. You can replace the separator. Let's say in our case, we don't want the separator. So you can say separator is nothing now. In that case, we won't see that twice double space here. Instead, we are just seeing a single space everywhere, right? The other way of writing, if I give you a brief description, if you to recall, is here you can write something like let's not give their space, and here we can give a space, or we could have done something like good morning. We could have used a formatted string where we are saying here you can write your data, and that's it. You don't even need separator or anything. Okay. So you can also do that. All three will give you the same result when you write the word letter Tom. Okay, all three are giving you the same thing. Now, this was the input. I hope this makes sense so far, like how these things are working. So if I have to give you a brief, I'll not go in depth, but the computer architecture is something like this, where you have something known as ALU in your CPU, where all the logic is happening. Once that logic is happening, then you have something known as, I think, registers. I'm just giving a brief overview here, which will communicate with the ALU to kind of do the logic, right? So registers is like a small space where you can say x plus y, and that instruction plus instruction with the x and y will be given to the ALU, the arithmetic logical unit inside CPU, and it will do the computation. It will give you the output that 1 plus 10 is, let's say, 11. So when the output is given to you, then comes these things, right? Then you can do it. So we do not directly communicate with the CPU, with the registers or the ALU. Instead, Python is going to do that, and it's going to show you by print, or either it will take it as input or print it, right? So everything is actually related to data only. So like here, the logic is happening inside CPU. That's great. Once it's done, all the other things like keyboard, monitor, printer, all the things that you are seeing are peripherals, and those can also be triggered using some data points. So, if you update some binary code somewhere, it will trigger the print to actually print some data, right? So keep that in your mind, that everything is storing and manipulating the data. Even internet is all about data. So whatever you see, even an image is nothing but a matrix or a vector of data. A video is again kind of like a stream of matrices, right? Where every matrix is a image. Yeah, coming back here now. Now that's the first thing. First algorithms that we are going to write is the if-else condition. So far, if you have any doubt, you can ask. I think I've only covered if-else condition, and I've give you brief overview. First, we had looked into the logic gates today. You should be aware of what is AND operator, OR operator, XOR, and how this AND and OR works. And before that, I have given you brief overview of previous session. We have looked into different data types like integer, float, boolean, and strings. We also looked into string methods today. So all of those things should be clear. Today, the last topic that we are going to cover is if-else condition. I'll not go beyond that because there are a lot of things that we have covered. I'll highly recommend after the session that go through each and everything we have covered and make yourself familiarized, right? And if you have not done enough exercise from our previous session, please try to do it in before our next session, because otherwise the syntax should be practiced on kind of like regular basis. Otherwise, everyone tends to forget them. Okay. Now the first thing is if-else condition. What is if-else condition? Now, generally here, if I write something like when you are greeting someone, when you are saying write your name, you got someone's name, and then you ask them, let's just say where you live, right? If they live in USA, so we are just saying, okay, where do you live, let's say, and if their output or if the value of live is USA, right, then what to do? So if they say something like I live in USA, if I write here, if the location is USA or not, if it's USA, if the value is true of the location being, okay, I should not write it here. Let me make it more simple. Yeah. So if the location is USA, then what to write? So then we can say good morning. Okay. So then we can print good morning, let's say. Or if the location is something else, then we can write something else, right? So that's the thing. So if the location is USA, we say good morning. If it's not, then what to do? So if this condition is false, then we can just print hi there. Okay. So this can be one of the things that we are doing. Now, how to do that in your code? Right now, we don't know any way of doing it, right? Any way of creating the branch. Like execute the good morning or this piece of code only when this condition that you have written is true. So this location equal to USA is a condition. Okay. And then we are checking, is that condition true or not? What happens if the condition is true and what happens if the condition is false? All right. Now, this is how you are branching your code, and you can branch it as many times as you want. If it's not USA, then check for something else. Then instead of saying hi there, check for some other condition. Are you in Europe or not, right? Are you in, let's say, an Asian country? So you can try to do that. Now I'll come back here. Let's look at this flow chart. In flow chart, generally start and end are in this shape, which is kind of ellipse. So it will be in this shape always. That's how flow charts are created. There will be a start, there will be an end. Now in flow chart, in the arrow there is an if condition, and the condition will always be in this diamond shape. Okay, and we will check if this condition is true or false. So if this condition is true, we are going to run the body of if condition. If the condition is false, we are going to run the body of else condition. Okay. Now let's try to code it. So if something happens, what? The location, we are going to ask the location from user. So we are going to say, please write your location. When you write your location, we are going to check if location is equal to let's say USA, then do something. Now let me say print good morning, else print hi there. Okay, this is something that we can do. Now if I run the code and if I write here USA, it says good morning. But if I run it again, the same code I'm running, and here if I say I live in, let's say, Asia, it's going to run hi there. So that's what if else do. Okay. Now this is one of the problem. The other thing we can solve is, let's say if I give you a fruit, if I give you a specific fruit, if I say please write the color of the color of the fruit, and if the color here is, let's say, red, I can say it's apple. But if the color is not red, then I can say it's yellow or it's banana then. Okay, so now we have done some kind of, this is kind of like an AI, right? Where there is an intelligence, but that intelligence is not human like right now. But there is an intelligence that if you write here that the color of the fruit is red, it predicts it to be apple, right? And when you give something else, even when you give it a color of white color fruit, it will predict it to be banana. Okay. So that's where you can also do something like, okay, tell me your age, and if your age is, let's say, less than 18, so these can be some questions. I'll try to put it in exercise sheet, like when can you vote, or what's the I think there will be a limit of, let's say, 25 to be in some political party or something. So how do you determine that? How will your code determine, okay, at what age, what are things you can access, right? So these are also can be done by if else conditions. I hope this part was fine so far. If you have any question, you can let me know in chat, or you can unmute yourself because you have covered a lot of concept today. Any questions so far?
Thank you. We are fine. I'm fine.
Okay, cool.
I'm fine for dinner.
All right. I'll come back here again. I hope this speed is fine. I can move fast and slow. But yeah, I was trying to give all the things that this basic, like, because the fundamentals, if the fundamentals are clear, then everything else will be clear afterwards. Because when you look at the libraries, all of them use the same syntax. So if you clearly understand what are variables, what is this if else and conditions and all, everything will be clear. So if so far this is clear, let's try to make it more complicated. Let's go more in depth in if else condition. So if I here, what happens instead of giving condition like this, if I put it in a variable, I can also do that. I can first say check for, so whatever, what happens when you use the equal to symbol? Equal to symbol is assignment operator. In Python, you can write as many space as possible. Nothing will happen, okay? The space doesn't matter that much here. Now, first the right hand side will be evaluated again, right? So the right hand side will give you a Boolean value. Either the color will be true or false. The color will be red or something else, right? If it's red, it will be true. Now, whatever the condition you get, you put it here. It's basically doing the same thing, right? How does if else condition work? What if I take a real world example where if I say something like a number and I ask you to write a number, please input a number. Okay, and once you do that, then I check if num print, or not even num, please write your name. And if you write your name, do something. You can say hi there, comma, without an space, name. Else you print hi stranger, okay, or hi guest. Now, what will happen in this code? Now, there is no condition, right? If you look at it, we are asking the user to give their name. Now, the name in itself is a string. What will happen if you put that in if condition? So what happens in between if and the colon symbol is, whatever you write in between if and colon symbol here, it will be typecasted into Boolean. So again, the typecasting comes in. Currently, we know how to typecast something into integer or string, but how do you typecast things into Boolean? How to typecast objects into Boolean? How to do that? So let's take an example. First of all, if you want to get some intuition of what will happen in case of Boolean is either it will be true or false, right? Whenever you give an object, think about what does, how do you denote emptiness in that specific data type? Let's see, if I'm talking about integer, what item or what object in case of integer denotes emptiness? So generally the emptiness is denoted by the symbol 0, right? That means in case of integers, 0 means false, everything else is true. Now, what about floating point? In floating point again, all 0.00, 0.0 or 0. Whatever number of times you write 0 means false. Everything else is true. Now, what happens in case of string? In case of string, when do you say a string is empty? What does that really mean? So a string is empty not when it has false in it, or not when a string contains 0 in it. A string is empty when there is no information in it, when it's a string with 0 characters. Okay. Okay, yeah. I hope you got this thing. So a string is empty when it does not have any element in it. So that means this specific string is empty string. This means false. Everything else, even if there is a single item, it will be true because it is conveying some information. Now, in case of any other data type, now you know how to get it. So always think about, okay, what means emptiness in that data type? Maybe in future you will be writing your own data types. Now you know how to convert that data type into Boolean. Like when you are in future when we look into object-oriented programming, this way of thinking will help there. Okay, coming back here, what will happen in this case? So when will the name be false? The name is of data type string because it's taking from input. It's string, and it's a if the string is empty, that means if someone is not even writing their name, then it's false. Okay, when someone is not writing their name, then it's false. Make sense? Now coming back here, let's run it and see what happens. So if I say my name is Tom, it says hi there, Tom.
Sorry, we're not seeing your screen.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. I'll share again. I hope you can see it now.
No.
No, is it not visible?
It's just black.
It's just black. Okay. Let me know when you see it because okay, let me stop sharing. Let me try to share again. Is it again black?
Yeah. It looked like maybe another Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, Mohit, it looks like it came first and then we got the black screen.
Okay. Let me maybe stop the execution. Okay, if it's still black, let me maybe rejoin, right? That might be the easiest
Yeah,
thing
sure.
I can do.
Yeah, let's try that.
What about now?
No, it is the same thing.
No.
We see the black screen.
Oh, okay.
Is there any programming running, Python programming running in the background?
Really, yeah, it's not even Python program. Let me see. So maybe let me just share a single screen instead of let me share a window, right?
Okay.
Just a second. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, even this will work. I can open Xcali here. Even this works, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I will, okay, I think that's enough for us then. Maybe I'll open the slide somewhere here. All right. Okay, so I'll open the slides here and yeah, these works. So we were looking into this thing, right? We were looking into when will someone give us false. So if I run it again, and this time if I just press enter, it gives me high guessed. Why is it giving me high guessed? Because when I don't write anything, basically the name variable is storing an empty list. Because the list is empty, that means if empty list high there, it like this part only executes when the condition is true. But because the name was empty, when you convert this empty string into a boolean, it will give you false, and that's why it will print high guessed. All right, so that is another way of writing if else condition. By not even denoting the condition, you already know that it's a boolean, so you don't have to write it as condition. Otherwise what people might do is they will say, okay, when name is equal to nothing, then this condition should become true, otherwise false. That means they will also do reverse. So they will say when not name is equal to empty, say hi there, otherwise say hi guest. In Python, we don't even need to do this abstract thing. Instead, we can directly say if name, do that, otherwise don't do it. But let me have both of them so that you have a comparison of how things work. Okay. All right. Now, once this part is done, let me go a little bit more into if else condition. Let me still execute something so that there is no error. Okay, now let's do the complex thing that we were looking into, the AND operator and OR operator, right? So we can try to use them here. When both are true, true and true will give you true. All the others will give you false, right? So if I do Control A, all right. So you can see the first one is true, but all the other combinations or all the other permutations are giving you false. Okay, and now if I do the same thing, but instead of AND operator, if we use OR operator, we are going to see true and then false, true, true. So basically it's always true. It's not true when both are false. And what about the XOR gate? So the XOR gate, let me check. I don't, is there XOR? No, right? So for XOR, what you can do is you can use this symbol, but let's see if this works for them or not. Yeah, it works, right? So for both the top two, when both are same, it's giving you false. When both are false or when both are true, it's giving you false. Okay, but when one of them is true, and basically XOR means exclusively OR. That means either of them has to be true, not both. Okay? Or not both should be false. So, okay, I think we got all three. Now we know how these AND operators work. Now let's try to do something like in case of a fruit or a vegetable. The first condition was that if my fruit, I'll first ask what color is it? Right. Now, input what color is it? If the color is equal to red, then I can print apple. But what if the color is not red? Else, I want to check something else. I want to check some other color. If the color is red, apple, but what if the color is not red? Then I will check if color is equal to yellow, then do something else. Then again print banana, right? Else, if the color is not even that, then print something else. I don't know, let's say. So what is this code? This is if else condition in nesting. So if something is true, then we are just printing apple. If the color is red, print apple. But if it's not red, then I'm doing the whole thing. Then I'm checking. Now let's check, because it's not red. Now let's just check, is it yellow or not? If it is yellow, banana, otherwise I don't know. But what if with color, I also want to know one more thing. I would also like to know the shape. What shape is it? Okay. Again, the Gen AI is giving me something generated, but maybe let's take this specific part from it. But we don't need their code here. So if the color is red and the shape is circular, then only I will say it's apple. If it is not red and circular, then it might be something else. Then I will check if the color is yellow and the shape is, let's say, for now, I will just say line. It's, I think, cylindrical, but let's just say line. Then I will say banana. Otherwise, print, I don't know. Makes sense? So let's test it out. What color is it? Let's say red color. What shape is it? If I say circle, it will give me apple. Otherwise, even if I say the color is red, but it's of the line. Okay, now I think whatever I write here, it won't even matter. But yeah, let's just say line. It says I don't know. Okay. So this is something advanced that we are doing here. What else can we do? So if you look at the basic code, let me again write a basic code here where the shape is not involved. Now you can see how by just using multiple if-else condition and operator, you can actually try to predict something. You can actually tell the user what fruit they have in their hand. If you kind of make, these are known as rules. Okay. In programming terms, these are the rules that you are building. And if you have sufficient rules, you'll be able to predict what fruit they have in their hand. So these are the things that used to happen before machine learning and AI, that you used to make this rule-based system, where if you want to identify something, make enough rules about it so that it kind of happens only when all of these conditions are true, right? You know a way of figuring it out. So if you know a way of figuring it out, then that means you can write rules for it to be true, right? Again, in machine learning, generally we don't have rules. We don't know how things are happening, and machine learns it from an equation, right? That's something else. Coming back here again, let's make it as simple as possible. So I'll just say it's circle and this is line and nothing else. Now this looks very simple. Again, Python makes it more simple. This, whatever you write after else, what does that mean? That means that if this condition is false, then I will check this condition. So this can also be written as else if, can be written as elif in Python. Okay. And then you can make it like this. So both this and these are same. Okay. Instead of writing this inside else, you can write something known as elif. What will elif do? So it will first check for if condition. If this is true, it will not check for any elifs or else. It will just execute that block and go out of it. But if the first condition is false, then it will go to the first elif. And you can write as many elif as you want. Then you can again check elif, the color is, let's just say orange, then I will say it's orange. Now it's much more design friendly, right? You are not nesting it so much. Now you can write hundreds of elifs and still it will be readable, right? So this is all about if and elif, else conditions. Again, you can write here and operator also. You can say if it is yellow, let's say the first one, in case of red one, if it is yellow and color is equal to circle, then only make it apple, otherwise don't. Not color. Let me try to make it complex by saying shape and then I can take it, but I'll not do that here because this concept should be clear. If so far you are able to connect all the things, like try to understand what I've done here, where I've used both color and shape. I've done these for two things, but in our XI sheet, you will see different things. Okay. You might see BMI, where body mass index is there. You can get the weight and height and do some computation. You can get the ATM machine where you have to withdraw and deposit money. So these are some things I will put in Excel sheet. You can try it out. The concepts will be similar. Okay. It will only require the if else condition and the variables. But try to do it, because sometimes, let's say in the BMI case, let's say in the body mass index case, you will have to get the height and the weight. But what if I give you height in meters or centimeter? That also you have to ask the user, right? So you can try to make things as complex or as personalized as possible, because you don't want end user to say, okay, please give me weight in kg only, because the machine only understand in kg. No, we should be able to understand all the things. They can give their weight in pounds or in whatever form they like, right? Like, okay, the height can also be taken in whatever case. It can be taken in centimeter, in inch, in I think feet and foot, in all the measurement scales. You can allow them and still give them the end result, right? So these types of personalizations are done using if else condition. So I will give you these two things in Excel sheet. If you have any question, you can ask from here, or if there's anything, any concept that is in your mind, you can feel free to ask. Yeah. I hope everything's clear. You can write it in chat if everything's clear to you, and we can, yeah. If everything's clear, then yeah, you will get Excel sheet. So maybe some doubts are not coming now. Try to do the Excel sheet. Try to solve all the things, and then I guess even if you have few doubts, and even if this looks a little bit haunting right now, everything will be easier. Okay, try to run as much code as possible. After the session, you will also get link to this notebook that I've created here. Try to run each and every cell and see why it's working as it's working, or try to make your changes and see what error you are getting, right? Those errors you should get and you should learn about them. Let's say if you write 8 ball, what is the error that you are getting, and why are you getting this syntax error here, right? So try to see these things and try to ask yourself these questions, because the number of errors in Python are constant. So once you know which error is coming, why, you have learned the whole programming language, right? You can debug so easily then. So yeah, these are my advice, and try to do the Excel sheet. Otherwise, everyone forgets the syntax. Syntax is something you have to work on. Yeah. So this is it for this session then.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, sorry, before you go on, how were you able to bring out the variable at the corner of the screen, to the variable to be showing at the corner of the screen? At the
Oh, how we do that? Okay. Let me again share this. Oh, you meant this thing. If you click here,
okay, okay,
yeah, if you click in this variables section, you can see all the
mm,
variables. And if you click on this folder symbol, all the files that you are going to put it in your Colab notebook, you will see them here in the folder thing.
okay,
So try to just play around things. Here you will see the secrets. If you would like to store some your password or something, you can add a new secret and store it like that. You can also search things here. You can say, okay, whenever I had placed the yellow thing, I hope something like this, replace it with, okay, not found. Maybe it will just try to get the file names only. It will not try to get all the variable names, I guess. Or maybe if I try to see yellow color. Yeah, it does, right? So I can say, okay, find all the color, and instead of that, write, let's say color. Okay, some weird name, but yeah, you can replace all like that. just by clicking on replace all 22 instances will be replaced and all of that. So you can try to do that. Again, I would not like to do that, otherwise the whole code will not work. So I'll just replace it and we'll be good, I guess. Yeah. And there is this table of sections. So in this Colab notebook, you can have this hashtag. If you write triple hashtag, that is like subheadings. And here you can give the heading of, let's say, class 2. And then you have a section inside that. So it's just for manage perspective. But yeah, maybe I'll put some exercise sheet also. So here we can see section 2. If you do that, you will see nicely the table sections and you can navigate nicely. So whenever you are creating a Colab notebook which have more than, like, let's say 300 or 400 code blocks, it's better to have a table of sections so that everything will be visible nicely here. Yeah, these are all the things that Google Colab lets you do, and they also have their own terminal, I guess, but we don't even need that. Everything else we don't need. Yeah, we just need, I think, these variable section. And right now we don't even need any GPU that they provide. So for us, the normal CPU is fine. Python 3, yeah. I hope if you have any more doubt, you can ask.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I'll stop sharing.
So thanks, Mohit. I just wanted to take this last few minutes. So just to see if everyone is able to access the recording from previous meeting. Anyone have any issues? If you wanted to check, we can also check it now. So feel free to raise any issues with viewing the recording from previous session.
Hello, Chadra.
Yes, Solution. Please go ahead.
The issue I'm having is not about the recording, but Mohit mentioned about the exercises that are sent to us, but I didn't see any exercise.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I see your comment as well. So Mohit, the additional exercises which you want to share it with the team. So when you can share that exercise with the team, the additional programming for them to practice at home.
I'll try to share by tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
By tomorrow for sure you will get it. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you can see the previous exercise sheet that I have already shared, I guess.
No, I didn't get that. I didn't see it. That's why I'm asking that, the
Okay.
last one that you shared, I didn't get it. The only that I got was the recording.
Okay, so I think Olusen, maybe I'm not sure why. So there's a link sent in the email. Maybe what I can do is I can put that link back in this chat. Let's take a look at it. I think there's a link. Yeah, I think this is the one what Mohit is sharing right now. So I think this is the page. You will see the programming. You see there's a problem set link. That's the one where the exercises are given for you to try out. This link is sent in the email. For any chance, if you did not receive or if you missed it, then I can resend it to you. You can take a look at it. Okay. I'm just going to post it now in the chat so you can take a look. And but in the future, I think for the further upcoming classes or even today's class, you will see all the links in the same page. So I think the one what we see is a session 1 is for the previous session, and today's session there will be one more created as a session 2. So you will find this information. So I'm just going to ping you the link in the chat here. Okay.
And when you get the link, you can click on it. You will be sent to this Colab notebook. After that, just create a copy of it. Okay. Save a copy, or I think because this I have created, but whenever you open this on an incognito mode or in some other mode where I'm not the owner, you will see a copy option. Just copy it and then try to edit. Okay. And then your changes will be saved. Okay. I hope that's clear.
That's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
But is it possible that we can create like if we don't want to use Google Drive, if there is a drive in Microsoft, we can create a drive, and that will be sent. Everything will be sent, and whatever I want to access will be in the drive.
Okay, Google in itself, I'm not seeing Google Jupyter Notebook style like Microsoft Google Jupyter Notebook style, but you can run these things locally. There is a way of doing that using Anaconda. So you can try to download Anaconda, and then whatever Jupyter Notebook I share, just download it on your computer, and you can open it via the Anaconda software. Then you don't need any Google account.
Okay.
Yeah, that can be done. Otherwise, you can create any new Google account or anything and just open these Jupyter Notebooks there. But otherwise, yes, you can do it locally. Even nowadays, you can. I think Google Colab is have a nice format, but again, Anaconda is also good. You can try to download Anaconda from their website and open the Jupyter Notebook on your device. That can be done. Yeah. But then you have to download whatever collab that I share. You can open it and you can download it. After downloading, you can open it on your Anaconda Jupyter Notebook. That can be done. So you can try to do that.
Okay, perfect. So Olusegun, can you also try the link which I posted in the chat just to make sure
Yes.
you are able to access?
Yes, I was able to open it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, the way that I got last week, on Monday was the recording, not this exercise. So that's what I'm trying to say. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, got it. So I think in that case, I think once Mohit posted the additional programming exercise, you can check the same link tomorrow. You will see another section called session 2, and you will find all these links inside. So which you can you don't need to wait for anything. You already have the link, so you can try some and access sometime tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, actually. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think we pretty much time. So, but before we close this call, anyone have any other question?
Sorry. When is this class? When is this link gonna? This recording gonna be available today?
So the recording will be shared sometime later today or early tomorrow morning. Okay. As soon as
Okay.
it's going to take some time for us to get this recording. As soon as I get it, I'll send it to you. You can
Okay then.
send an email. You can look for the email, and then you will see the link.
Okay then. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So Mohit, I think if there is no other questions from the participants, I think we can close this call. Thanks everyone.
Sure. Thanks.